Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is April, and in today's video, I thought we would do a trash to treasure. Those are the videos I've been super into lately, so I thought why not make a farmhouse trash to treasure. I'm gonna show you guys how to turn a spaghetti jar into a farmhouse galvanized milk can. That's right, we're gonna make a milk can today out of something plastic and make it look galvanized and metal-like. If you want to learn how to make that, I'd love for you guys to continue watching. And also, if you're new here, hi and welcome to my channel. I do a lot of DIYs. I do a lot of wreath making. I do a Dollar Tree DIYs, and I've really been into trash to treasure DIYs. So if that's what you like, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button. Also, if you enjoy these type of videos, please hit that thumbs up button. And if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video, just hit that bell notification and it'll let you know every time I upload. Anyway, if you guys want to see how I made this really cute galvanized milk can, keep watching. So this project literally is trash to treasure. To make this galvanized milk can, I used a large container of Ragu spaghetti sauce, a gelato container that we had just finished, and a little small orange bowl that we never really used that was just sitting in our pantry. And these are the three main items I used to make the milk can. Okay, so the first thing that I did was I removed the labels from the gelato container and the Ragu container. So all I did was take 100% acetone nail polish remover. This one's actually from Dollar General. It's really good quality and I use it all the time. Besides using it for nail polish remover, it also works great to take labels off. So I just took a cotton pad and I soaked some of the acetone on there, and then I just rubbed the label off of the gelato jar first. The Ragu container, it was actually super easy. I just ripped the label off and then I just took another cotton pad with acetone and rubbed the rest of the excess off. After the labels are off of both containers, next thing I did was I used an X-Acto knife to cut the gelato container in half. Now this did take a little bit of time. If you're going to use an X-Acto knife, I recommend you take your time and go slowly because it is a bit harder to cut with that. If you have maybe a fine-tooth saw or maybe a utility knife, I think that would be better to cut this with, but I was in my craft room and all I had on hand was an X-Acto knife, so I just took my time and I just cut the gelato container in half. And this is what it looks like when it's cut in half, and I'm going to use the top part of the gelato container for my galvanized milk can. So next thing I did was took a sanding block and just sanded it down really well because it was jagged from the X-Acto knife, and then I ended up taking some scissors and just trimming the excess portion off and then sanding it down a little bit more, and that helped make it more even. And the next thing I did was I took my containers outside and the orange bowl and I sprayed it with some Krylon Color Master Brush Metallic spray paint in the color nickel, and I love how this turned out. It gave it the perfect like silvery nickel color base for my project. So you may be able to tell that there's a little bit of runniness on the orange bowl, and that's actually from the wind. It was quite windy outside when I spray painted this, and then I let it sit out there for 10 minutes and the cardboard got knocked over. But you know what, it's totally okay because we're going to be able to cover that when we do the galvanizing and you won't even be able to tell. So after everything's dry, I just added some hot glue onto the top part of the orange bowl and I secured it to the Ragu container. You can also use E6000 to give it a stronger bond, but the hot glue worked perfectly fine for me. Then after the orange bowl has set on top of the Ragu container, I am now going to hot glue the gelato container, or the top part of the gelato container, onto my orange bowl. And after I pressed it down, I went ahead and added just a little bit more hot glue just to make sure it's nice and secure onto the bowl. And now it's time to start the galvanizing process, and this was actually so much fun because you can really make it your own and really make your milk can unique by adding so many different colors. So the first color I added was the Waverly chalk paint and elephant, and I used I think these are called artist sponges. I got them from Hobby Lobby. They kind of remind me of what you would see in a fish tank, like the coral, but that's what it reminds me of. But anyways, I just dipped that elephant paint on, or dipped the sponge into the elephant paint, and now I'm just going all around my milk can and just adding some texture and some depth to the can. And once you start adding the color, you're going to slowly start seeing the galvanizing come to life. The more colors you add, the more depth, the more uniqueness you're going to get. And I know that you can see that orange peeping through from the orange bowl. I'm going to cover that up later once I'm done with the galvanizing. Now I'm taking some folk art acrylic paint in the color medium gray, and I'm going to now galvanize with that. And I'm just going to take the same artist sponge and start going all the way around the can again on top of the color elephant, and this is just going to add some more depth to the can. And the third color that I'm going to add is this Folk Art Gunmetal Gray Metallic Acrylic Paint. And this is just going to give you that like shiny galvanized look that you would see in the galvanized milk cans at like Hobby Lobby or Macy's. And it just kind of reflects when the sun hits it, and it really just adds a really cool dimension to the milk can. And as you can see, I'm just taking that sponge brush again, and I'm just going all over with that metallic color, and then I end up adding another metallic color as well, and this is the Folk Art Silver Anniversary Metallic Acrylic Paint, and it's a little bit lighter than the first metallic Folk Art paint I added, and this is just going to add some more depth and character to the can. You don't have to go through all these steps. Like if you just wanted to do 2 different colors of gray, that would be totally fine, but I was going for more of that aged rustic farmhouse look, so that's why I kept layering on the paints, and it was actually kind of therapeutic just to go through and just dab away at this canister and just make it my own. When I use different paints, I love to use different sponges and brushes to add different characteristics to my DIY projects. So I took a makeup sponge. I think I got this either from Dollar Tree or Walmart or Walgreens a while back, and I just took that and I'm just dabbing into actually random colors on my paper plate and just adding a little bit more definition into my galvanized milk can. And I just love how this just adds a little bit more character to the project and kind of makes it stand out a bit more. Okay, now it's time to even add more paint. I know you guys are like, whoa, what's she doing? She's adding so much paint, but this is really going to give you that antique rusty look on your galvanized milk can and kind of give you that farmhouse look. This makes it look aged and like you kind of got it at an antique store, which I absolutely love. So I took Apple Barrel Burnt Umber and the Folk Art Metallic Antique Gold color, mixed them together, and then I just applied it with that makeup sponge that I had used earlier. I didn't even clean it off, so it still had the other paint colors on there as well. And this just gives it that extra something, that extra rusty look, like this can has been like around for years. And I just love how antique this makes it look, and it gives it some character as well. And remember how earlier I told you the orange rim of the bowl was still peeping through? So I just took a paintbrush and I'm just dry brushing on some of the excess paint that was on my paper plate. I think it probably was a mix of the elephant waverly color and the medium gray color, and I'm just going around the rim just to cover that orange part up. Now I'm going to add on the handles to my milk can. So I took a pipe cleaner and I cut it in half, and I'm just going to use some hot glue, and then I'm going to wrap some aluminum foil around the pipe cleaner with some hot glue to secure it, and I'm just going to cut off the extra part of the aluminum foil. I'm going to do this twice to make 2 handles for my milk can. To make the handles match the milk can, I just took my makeup sponge and I'm just dipping into the extra paint that's left over on the paper plate, and I'm just sponging it onto my handles just to make it match the milk can. While I'm waiting on the handles to dry, I'm going to cover up that area where we glued the gelato container to the orange bowl. So I'm just taking some hot glue and I'm adding dollops here and there, and I'm going to take some twine and wrap it around that area. And I'm going to do this a few times. I think I probably wrapped it around maybe a good like 10 times just to cover up that area that we hot glued. After I've added the twine, now it's time to add the handles onto the milk can. So I ended up actually folding the aluminum foil once long ways and then trimming it in half just to make the handles a little bit smaller and kind of like making it look more worn. So I'm just taking a dollop of hot glue and I'm going to add 2 dollops onto the milk can where the bowl part is, and then I'm just going to press down and make sure the handles are nice and secured onto the milk can. After I've attached my first handle, I'm going to repeat the process and do the same exact thing to attach the second handle to my milk can. Once the hot glue was dried on the handle part of the container, I decided to go in with my makeup sponge and just add a little bit more brown color to the handles just to make it blend in a little bit more, because you could see where I glued it on and I wanted it to kind of look seamless. So I'm just dabbing on some of the extra paint onto the handles to make everything blend in. Y'all may have seen the milk cans at Hobby Lobby or on Kirkland's website, and they all have that rusty top part on their can, and I just felt like my milk can wasn't rusty enough on the top part, so I'm just adding the extra paint that's left over on the paper plate, and I'm adding a bit more of that burnt umber color, and just using my makeup sponge, and I'm just dabbing it in just to give it more of a rusty effect on the top part of the milk can. And the very last thing I did just to finish off the milk can was to take my paintbrush, and I'm just dry brushing the extra paint that was left over on the paper plate into all the little cracks and crevices. As you notice, the Ragu container had those little lines all throughout the back side and the front side, and I just wanted to cover them up a bit and make the shininess from the spray paint not show up as much. So I'm just taking the paintbrush and I'm just dry brushing it all around, and I'm using my sponge to blend it in, and that is what it looks like. And now I'm going to show you the finished product. And here is what the finished Farmhouse galvanized milk can looks like. And you guys, this might be my favorite DIY I've ever done. I absolutely love how this turned out. And this was literal trash to treasure. Like, this stuff was going to go in the trash, and I was able to turn some plastic Ragu can or jar into this beautiful galvanized metal looking milk can. You can't even tell that this was plastic. Like, this was clear plastic in an orange bowl. This totally looks like a metal container that I think you could probably buy at Kirklands or Hobby Lobby, and I am obsessed. I literally had so much fun making this, and I just love how it turned out. I went ahead and added some lamb's ear to the top part and some lavender. I think these are from Walmart. They're super cheap, and I just love how this turned out. If you guys enjoyed this DIY, comment down below and let me know, and I will continue making these trash to treasure DIYs because they are so much fun. And if you enjoyed this type of video, please hit that thumbs up button, and if you're new here, I'd love for you to stick around and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!